am wrapping up a 3-day fast. Let's talk about it.
Okay, let's go.
So first, why did I do it? Fasting's common in a lot of religions. Some of my friends back home in Fayetteville were Muslim and they fast for Ramadan. And then when I lived in India, fasting's common there as well. I'm a Christian. Fasting is talked about a lot in the Bible, and I just felt like I needed to step into April with a renewed heart. I wanted to press into the Lord through prayer. Sometimes that focused act can really result in a heart that's more active in prayer. Also, I had just been feeling really low, dealing with some discouragement, and I felt like fasting might help with that as well, partially just because of the intentionality with prayer. And then I was also really using food to cope, and I don't think that cycle is helpful, because then I'm eating more sugar, but then I'm dealing with sugar lows, and then I'm feeling more sad. And I just wanted to nip that in the bud and start pursuing my healthy eating habits again. I eat high protein, high fiber. I work out usually 6 days a week. I'm happy with my weight. This was not about weight loss. In fact, I would say fad diets, low calorie diets are not a good way to lose weight, because they cause muscle loss as well, and we need to guard that muscle, especially ladies. Muscle is key to our metabolism, is key to our bone health, and to a life that is long. Longevity and muscle mass are directly linked. So in order to prevent that muscle loss, I went for walks. I didn't want to do my weightlifting because I felt like that wasn't a good idea while I wasn't eating as much carbs. And I did have a protein shake. In the morning, I would have a protein shake with some collagen. In the evening, I would have that as well. I did allow myself to have decaf coffee. I was fine if I put a splash of 2% milk in it. And then yesterday I had some leftover air fryer potato fries. No oil, very little seasoning, just a little bit of something to give me some energy after my walk, because I didn't want to crash. And it's gone really well. Weightlifting is what has given me the most positive changes in my physique. So if you're thinking, what should I do for my health? Start lifting weights. I've got other videos on my channel. You do not have to eat as much protein as me. I am quite tall. I do want to gain muscle. I'm sure I could eat 150, 160 grams of protein and still do great, but my coach has recommended 180, and I am bowing to her expertise, and it so far has been giving me the changes that I want to see. But normally I would eat 130 to 150, and then as soon as I saw her, she bumped the 150 to 160. My usual workout split is legs, chest and tri, back and bi, legs, and then upper, as well as some running or walking in the midst of that. Next month, I'm going to add in a step challenge, again, just to get my head out of its fog, to give myself a little bit of a goal. And then I have decided in October to run a 100-kilometer ultramarathon. I ran a 100-miler last year, so this will be a little shorter than that. This will be 62 miles. 2 years ago, I ran a 50-miler. The year before that was my first 50K. I've now run several of those. I really prefer ultras. They're my sport of choice, but weightlifting is what helps empower my running, and like I said, it has given me the body I want. Plus, that's going to give me a healthy life. So, would I recommend the fast? My worry with fasting is that it might trigger eating disorder tendencies, or that the heavy restriction will then cause you to binge. It is so much easier to stick to a calorie deficit when it is barely below maintenance, and you just add in a little bit of light walking in addition to your weightlifting. That's going to make it maintainable. I have achieved a body recomposition, is what I would call it, by losing fat, gaining muscle, and the scale stayed almost the same. There's more information on that on my DEXA scan video, but you're gonna have to look inside your own heart and decide if this is right for you. If you are a Christian and you read up on it and it's beneficial to you spiritually, then absolutely yes. Sometimes I think that our holistic health gets forgotten. Our holistic being is our physical body, it is our mental health, and it is our spiritual health. This fast, I truly feel like I was able to balance not hurting my health by being in a crazy calorie deficit or losing muscle mass, but still benefiting spiritually and in my mental health. When you are in a fast and you lose weight, it is because you're not eating as many carbs, and for every bit of glycogen stores your body has, it needs to also hold on to water. They pair together. Water is drawn to where you have glycogen stores, and you need glycogen stores. Your brain runs on glucose.
Your brain runs on glucose!
However, during a fast, you're not eating as many carbs, so you're going to lose the weight of the glycogen as well as the weight of the water. That is not permanent weight loss. If you prolong a fast, you may also lose muscle mass, which is not a weight we want to lose. We want lean muscle mass. Also, electrolytes. You might get electrolyte depleted. It is very important for you to be replenishing your electrolytes while on a fast. My electrolyte of choice has always been Element. When I ran my first half marathon, I was a new runner. I ran it in full sun. It was quite hot, and I ran it with no electrolytes. I came home and immediately nursed my baby because I was still breastfeeding. I started seeing stars. I almost passed out. I felt so horribly weak and sick and started profusely sweating even though I was comfortable. I then tried to supplement with salt and accidentally ended up in the restroom because I gave myself too much. Do not try to DIY electrolytes when you're not a chemist. If Element is too expensive for you, find something more affordable. But I would say if you look at the ingredients, oftentimes Element, 1 packet is equal to 6 packets of the other brand. So really it ends up being way more cost effective to buy Element and just use a third of a packet. Just my opinion.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
Another form of weight that is lost is simply the lack of food you're digesting. Your digestive system has emptied out, and that will bring the scale down. This isn't true weight loss. So again, if your goal is to lose weight, do a moderate deficit, weight lift, and incorporate some walks or light running. Right before I started the fast, I had a few nights where after I ate dinner, I was hit with waves of nausea. My hands would start shaking, I would get sweaty and hot, and then the fatigue was indescribable. I had just eaten, but I would feel like I hadn't eaten all day, as though if I stood up, I was going to pass out. Out of nowhere, and I knew that I had been eating more carbs, I wasn't tracking my protein, and I do feel best when I eat a high protein diet. So that really concerned me, and I was not okay with those changes. Fasting has been proven to help with A1C and blood sugar levels, and I have felt such a steady energy the last 3 days, even though I have been eating less. And every night this week, I have gone for a walk with my family after dinner, when the mere thought of walking across the street sounded impossible. In addition to helping your mental health, it also helps your brain to function. Now, the studies on this usually are more intermittent fasting focused, but they show that it reduces brain fog, increases the ability to focus, and may slow cognitive decline with certain diseases. With your heart, it shows that it can lower your resting heart rate, lower your blood pressure, as well as improve other markers. Now, the interesting thing with this is that it is correlated. Correlation does not always equate a causation. It simply might be that because people are intermittent fasting, their caloric intake is less, therefore they lose body weight. And improving your BMI will improve those factors. So if they were overweight and they lost weight, of course there will be improvements, and it's not necessarily the fasting so much as the beneficial weight loss. One thing I would like to point out about how I normally eat is I normally eat high protein. That will help me maintain muscle mass. In a calorie deficit, which I'm not in one normally, if you eat high protein, you're going to lose less muscle mass even if you're not necessarily going to the gym. And eating high protein will support muscle gain and give your bones the building blocks it needs to fortify. Bone mineral density is very important. Again, there's more information on that in my DEXA scan video. Also, I eat high fiber regularly, minimum of 25 grams, upwards of 30. High fiber will increase your digestive enzymes, and the prebiotic and probiotic fiber will really improve your gut health and gut motility. A high fiber diet will reduce your risk of colon cancer, and colon cancer is the first leading cause of men under 50 and the second leading cause of women under 50. It's very important to eat your fiber. This is another reason why it is important to eat, and why this fast is not a permanent lifestyle and isn't how I'm pursuing health. It is benefiting my holistic health, but I want to portray the full picture. Look at these blue clouds, and look at the trees. Can you see those purple flowers? Also, I want you to listen to something. Can you hear the children playing? And I can smell these purple flowers. And there's even a bird that's been in that bush. During this fast, I intentionally sought out the Lord a little bit more. I prayed with my friend on Tuesday, I prayed with my husband every morning, and tonight we're also going to a prayer meeting. I'm really thankful that I chose this fast and pressed in to know the Lord. There's a Bible verse that says, if you draw near to Him, He will draw near to you. So I'm taking that first step, and I know that He'll take the second. If you've chosen to fast, please leave a comment below so I can cheer you on. Let me know your goals and how I can support them. And if you're interested in hearing more health content, I have lots more and would love for you to subscribe and join the channel. Bye-bye.